Okay, we got our mics all on now. Sweet Hitchhiker, CCR. Awesome song back in the day. I mean, I like CCR. I don't know about everybody out there in TV land or video land and on the radio, but I did like Sweet Hitchhiker and I like CCR. That's all I have to say about that. So how is everybody doing out there? My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls. And whenever I'm on this video, I keep looking around because there's so much going on downtown. We're like in a fishbowl here, right? When you look outside, you see the Meteor Crater, people here, people there. They're all over the place. So I look at the camera, and I'm doing the radio show, of course, at the same time. My recorder's on, but when I look out, I see all kinds of stuff going on. So I go, "Whoa, what's that? What's that?" I'm like a squirrel, squirrel, like a dog and a squirrel, something like a guy's carrying a bucket in a bag over there. Well, I don't know what's going on, but that's the way it is. And we are here live at 4680Q Radio, of course. That's our flag station here. That's where we broadcast from in the studios in downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. For those of you listening outside of the Niagara region, but we do talk a lot of regional, but we talk a lot of world news. We talk everything here. I do it all. I tackle anything where there's a controversy or I have an opinion on. That's where I go. So when you listen in, you get a little bit of everything. I'm not a news journalist. I'm not a journalist. I don't go out there like John Law or Ray Spiteri or Allison Langley and dig up stories and that kind of thing. I just report what I see, and then I give an opinion on it. That's what I do. If you're wondering what this says, because it's backwards, of course, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, which brings me to my first sponsor, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Now, this time of year, we're starting to get, I don't know, I'm feeling that little nip in the air in the morning. It's 64 degrees in the morning, 67 this morning, 64 yesterday. And you're starting to feel that little bit of fall moving in. Even though we're in August, you're starting to feel that fall moving in. And, last night I was sitting outside. It was beautiful sunshine, really nice. The sun went behind some trees. And with a little breeze, it got a little bit chilly out there. And that's what we're feeling now. We're not getting those big numbers at night anymore, the 75s, 80 degrees or anything else, right? So, excuse me. Somebody just walked by and I waved. See what happens? So you want to make sure that your car's getting ready for winter in the fall. You want to make sure it's running right. You're going to get some vacation and sneak that last trip in in the summer. And you want your car to be running good when you get on the road. You don't want breakdowns. You don't want to pull over. You don't want to have to do anything out of the ordinary. You want to just purr all the way to your vacation location and have a great time not worrying about your car. So how do you do that? Well, you get it into Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, and you ask Ken to give it the once over. You change your oil. You make sure everything's running tip-top, that your air conditioning's working. You got good brakes. You have a solid car that's running well. He has diagnostic equipment. He will throw it on there, see if there's any error codes that come up and fix those error codes for you right away and get you on the road. Happy motoring for the rest of the summer with little we have left. And you're going to be glad because the kids go back to school in 3 or 4 weeks. And they're going to want to do something the last month of the summer here. They're going to want to go somewhere. That's what you do. You make sure your car is running good. And if you get in any kind of an accident, guess what? Ken's got a full body shop at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. And he's going to fix your car and send it out the door in factory showroom condition. And it's going to look fantastic. You're going to be happy. He's going to be happy. I'm going to be happy. Tell him Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. Get your car fixed. Be proactive. Anyway. So I was talking about yesterday. It was a beautiful day, and time at night though, it's just that chilly. You want to light up that fire pit or grab a jacket if you're going to sit outside. And like I say, 67 at 5 o'clock in the morning when I got up. I get up that time every day, and we're going to hit the 80 mark. It said today, but it's cloudy out there now, and it actually looks like a little bit of rain is going to move in. But you know what? My lawn could use it. Believe it or not, all that rain that we seem to have gotten. My lawn's still dry. I don't get it, but it is. So the rain's a little bit more with the hay. That's the way it goes. Now, speaking of weather, we had a couple tornadoes that people said were tornadoes, but nobody was sure if they were tornadoes or not. They know there was a high wind, but they weren't sure if they were actual tornadoes. So what happens is the University of Western Ontario in London, Northern Tornadoes Project, they come down to the peninsula. They're wandering around looking for signs of tornadoes. And what they found evidence of is that there were 3 tornadoes that actually touched down in Niagara, or Niagara region. I mean, in Fort Erie and Port Colborne. So the first ones were in Port Colborne, and that one moved over to Stevensville. Then you had one in Fort Erie that actually crossed the Niagara River or the lake and hit downtown Buffalo. And that was called an EF1 level tornado, winds up to 155 kilometers an hour. And then they found a third one that actually hit the Fort Erie area by the old fort, Fort Erie. That's why it's called Fort Erie. There's a fort there, Fort Erie, in case you didn't know. And then that's the one that managed to wind its way over to Buffalo. And then the third one was the humdinger that tore the roof off the Rona building in Fort Erie. It uprooted trees, damaged homes, flipped over an actual trailer, like a travel trailer, in the parking lot of Walmart over there, and it didn't last long, but it did a lot of damage. And that's the one that was classified the EF1 with winds reaching 155 kilometers an hour, and that's a big blow. It cut a path up to 190 meters wide through Fort Erie for about 6 kilometers. So that's that can do a lot of damage in that short amount of time, because it doesn't take long to go 6 kilometers. What's that? There's 4 miles maybe, and 190 meters wide is 500 or 600 feet wide. So interesting. And another observation from the crew at Western was the inability to predict that these are basically water spouts that have come ashore. They're called land spout tornadoes, and they form at ground level. So most tornadoes, when the storm comes over, there's a circulating pattern, and eventually it drops a spout that touches the ground. It touches the actual ground and does the damage. Well, you know what? Now there's Peterson. How you doing? I know. I'm telling you, everybody walks by here and says hello. Yeah, these ones came from the ground up, so they started at the ground and then reached up into the storms. And these are the ones that Doppler radar and that kind of thing can't predict. So they don't. People were saying, "Why didn't we get any tornado warnings?" Well, no, these ones you don't predict. They just all of a sudden start swirling. They remind me, to be honest with you, if you've ever been down in the southwestern United States, of dust devils. I mean, you'll be standing there in the desert or somewhere, and all of a sudden this dust devil will come, and it just starts swirling on ground level from the heat, the convection, because it gets up to 120 degrees, and it starts swirling, and then it goes up into the air, and it just kind of moves a little bit, and it's got dust and debris all over the place. It's the weirdest thing. They call them dust devils, and that's what this kind of is. So they can be generated by any small passing storms. You don't know. So basically, whenever you see heavy thunderclouds and thunderheads and that kind of thing, look up in the sky and watch out for these land spouts, or if you're looking over the lake, you see them as water spouts. So that was pretty cool, and they figured it all out now. So 3 tornadoes touched down, guaranteed. That's what they said. Before, nobody knew exactly how many did, where they were exactly, or if they even were tornadoes. I mean, we've had big winds before where they do damage and throw your gazebo across the road and that, but it doesn't necessarily mean it was a tornado. But these were. So there you go. Interesting things from University of Western Ontario. Their storm chaser guys come down. So you know what? I'm looking at the review here, and Chris Regis was supposed to come in today. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. He got called away. It's important business matters to deal with between his restaurant, the old Firehouse restaurant in St. David's, and his dad's restaurant. I mean, his family restaurant, the Greek on Portage, right? It used to be Chatter's. He had a bunch of stuff to take care of, couldn't make it. But we're going to get him in here because he really loves talking about the region, and he really loves talking about taxes. And we're into both seasons now as we head into the fall. And the region is already giving you your vat of lube, and they're putting a little bit of sand in it. They're greasing us up for a tax increase in the 2025 budget of 8.72%. They're already mentioning that. And that doesn't include all the other tax increases to water, wastewater, transit, waste management as a start. That's just what they figure they're going to need for their operating budget. The capital budget is something else. And now, will it land at 8.72? Well, we'll see. Not necessarily regional council, when they sit down and look at the budget, they may have something to say about this. But I don't know, it's just the warning signs. When they start saying this in August, the end of July, August, they're preparing you for something. And of course, the tax and spend liberals that run the region, that they cannot do with less. No, they don't want to do with less unless they start cutting services. That's always the threat. We can do it, but you won't be able to play soccer. You won't be able to do this. You won't be able to do that. The fear mongering that comes with it drives me crazy. I mean, why do they even do it? And I always say they start goofy anyway. Rather than saying we're going to get an 8.72, why don't they say we're holding it at zero? We're going to do everything we can to hold it at zero and then come back with 2%. Say we tried, we just couldn't do it. Rather than giving us the 1-2 and then dropping it down to 5 and everybody, feeling good. It's a psychological move. It makes everybody feel better. Oh, they're going to give us an 8%, 9% raise. Oh, they got it down to 5.8. Oh, I feel much better now on top of last year's 15% or whatever the heck they hit us for. I mean, it's a big game they play. It's a big game. Once I'd like somebody to stand up and say, no, 0. Go back, bring it in 0. That's it. You work for us. We don't work for you. Go bring it in at 0. And start from there. From now on, the bylaw. You start at 0. Anything more than 0% increase, you've got to come to us for the okay. They always start at 8, 9, 10, 11. I've seen 11. Oh, we got it down to 7.9. Oh, you're heroes. Oh, we really had to work hard at this. Yeah, right. Give me a break. Bunch of phonies. Gaslighting phonies. And this fear mongering really gets me. So, we're going to have to see what the region comes up with. We know it's not going to be pretty if they're already giving us the 1-2 at 8.72%. So you can depend on, 6, maybe 7, plus the other crap that they charge us for. But it really made me laugh because I was watching the big show on CHCH, again, messing around with the boys. He goes up to CHCH, and it's like a episode of Leave It to Beaver, where Wally and the Beaver are messing around with Eddie and Lumpy. He goes up there messing around with these guys like a comedy show. They Leave It to Beaver. Don't be too hard on the Beaver. Come on, we don't want any more taxes, Big Jim. Yeah, big show. But no, he goes up there, messes around. Here's Lumpy, here's Eddie. What the heck? I don't even get what they're doing. Why are they doing this? I don't know. I have to ask him. Now, think of this, my fellow suckers. In 2023, the city underestimated the casino revenue by $5 million. Get a pencil out and start writing this down. That's $5 million. They did the same for 2024, but that number was a few million higher, probably about 7 million, 7.5 million. You can even call it 8. 14 and 8 is 22. We're probably going to get 22 this year based on the first quarter. Haven't seen the second quarter yet, but it's probably going to be bigger. It's been busier than hell down in the tourist areas. Okay, so in that, now we've sold Niagara Regional Broadband, which we own. Taxpayers, we owned it. We bought it. City ran it, and they sold it to Cogeco. And I've got to think it's worth $40 to $50 million. We haven't got any numbers. Nobody knows. But I got to figure it's worth something. And if it's $40 million, we're going to add this $5 million and the $8 million. It's 13. Now we're up to $53 million, just floating around. Just floating around. Yeah, just floating around. And what else do we got here? We had the 1.3 million that we saved on the hospital fund, which we should have got back last year. But Tiffany Clark stood up, our financial person stood up and said, "Oh no, I want to put that in the reserve fund for equipment," even though they budgeted 14 million for equipment last year. So that was gone. Victor Peterangelo tried. That was gone. And then we have another 7.5 million that we don't have to spend on transit that we used to spend. So add it all up. What do we got? 70 million? Just floating around. Money just floating around. Where is it? We don't know. Somewhere. They'll tell you it's in some kind of reserve funds and stuff like that. I don't see any coming back to the taxpayer. That'd be nice if they said we're going to give 20 million back and knock your taxes down by 10% this year. What about that? I don't know. Is anybody going to stand up and explain this or talk about it at budget time? Probably not. Not unless somebody in the city council decides to bring this up. But it's a great thing to tell Councilor Nincompoop when she has her town hall meeting on August 14th, and we'll talk about that later. So there you go. I think Jimmy's inflationary increase is not warranted this year. As a matter of fact, we might need an inflationary decrease because we've taken in so much money that they never planned on last year. What do you think, Penguin? Put on that pink jacket and get the pencils out. Let's go. Come on. Let's do the work here. And if the Penguin doesn't want to, and I know he does. Jason Burgess, I call him the Penguin because of Burgess Meredith, the guy, the Penguin on Batman. That's why I call him the Penguin, for no other reason. But he has been ordered. City Council ordered him to do something, and that was to save $1 million on this year's. But $1 million? Are you kidding me? We have 70 million hanging around. He's going to save $1 million. That was their order. Oh my goodness! Is this some kind of a nightmare? Is this some kind of a joke? But anyway, he tried. He tried with the firefighters. Their dispatch. Give it over to St. Catharines. Save what, 250,000. They said no. He tried other stuff. They say no all the time to him. So I got to give him credit. He's trying, but this time there should be no excuse. If he's serious, there's that money sitting around. He should be able to free some up for us, the taxpayers. I mean, come on, gee whiz. So anyway, if one city council stand up and ask any of these questions, I don't know if they'll go to, they probably won't, but these are the things that I notice. I mean, I'm not on city council. I don't have inside information. I just see these numbers flying around, and I'm just wondering what they do with this money. And they're true numbers. I mean, these are the numbers. You can look in the budget if you go back to November of 2023 when they did the 2024 budget. Because I did, and I went back to 2022 in the November budget to see that, where they estimated 14 million for the casino, and we took in 5 million more in 2023, and we're going to take probably about 8 million more in 2024. And they raised our taxes based on only getting 14 million, and we got 8 million more. So why did they raise our taxes? I had a rally last year saying a zero tax increase because there's lots of money around. We didn't get it. 20 people came out. What kind of protest is that? More Palestinians show up down at the park, block the bridges and everything. And it has nothing to do with Canada or Niagara Falls or the region. But, nobody comes out for this. And 27% show up to vote. So nothing happens. It wouldn't surprise me. So anyway, I don't know why we're getting this kind of an increase. Last year could have been zero. This year can be the same, probably a 10% decrease. But they're going to jam us another 4% anyway, because Mayor Jim, the big show on CHH, said an inflationary budget, whatever that means. I don't even know what that means. It's double talk, more double talk. But if you want to know what's going on, and they do give us a 4%, that'll be like almost 18% over the last 3 years. Yeah, 18%. They got all this money floating around. Yeah. But important dates to watch are November 26th for the capital and parking budgets, Followed up with the wastewater budget on December 10th, and the operating budget, of course, on January 21st, 2025, capping off our inflationary increase, which is what they called last year's 4%. An inflationary increase. Nonsense. 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 Elections coming, 2026. If everybody gets out and votes, they may not be around to make a 2026 budget. Somebody else will be. Yeah. Hey, let's get off that. I don't know. I just think that one council, even somebody, would stand up and defend the taxpayers. For once, and they'd all get together and just order staff to do what they say. No, we don't want to hear excuses from everybody. No, Miss Dolch, no, Tiffany Clark, no, Penguin. No excuses. Zero. This is what you want to start on. Right now, they got it done. Zero. That's where we want to start. Zero. Everything you can do to bring it in at zero. I don't care if you use this 70 million, part of that to bring it down to zero. At least zero. That's where we should be telling them. But no, go ahead, do your thing. You do the budget, do whatever you want. And oh yeah, that guy needs a new fire truck for 30 million. Yeah, go ahead. Put it. You want new trucks down there? Sure, give it new trucks. Don't worry about it. Sure. And oh my goodness, this guy here races up and down the street. He drives me nuts in front of the studio. Live radio, live video. That's the way it goes, right? But anyway, yeah, people say I'm complaining, and I'm not complaining. I'm just looking at this stuff and trying to make common sense out of it. Like, just to try to figure out why we keep getting hammered. I just don't see a reason. And that's reason enough for me to question it. That's it. Not complaining. I mean, at the end of the day, we got to do what they say. They say it's going up 4%. It's going up 4%. I mean, unless we get a crowd at City Hall yelling and screaming. I mean, like Niagara Lake had 200 people out because they didn't like one of the developments the council okayed, and they let it be known. I got to give them credit. They got some cojones, man. They all got down there yelling and screaming, and the Lord Mayor and the Deputy Lord Mayor were aghast at this terrible behavior. Hey, actually, people having a peaceful protest against something they don't like. They consider that horrible behavior. Are you kidding me? Horrible behavior is what they do in Bolivia when they don't like something city council comes up with. You know what they do in Bolivia? They storm the parliament, storm City Hall. They grab the mayor, drag him out, and he might be in big trouble. He better like climbing a tree. Yeah. This is just a peaceful protest saying that people are not happy. 200 people is not even that big of a crowd, but for Niagara Lake, I mean, this is a big deal. It would be a big deal here in Niagara Falls. It'd blow my mind if 200 people showed up at City Hall to say they didn't want an increase. We tried, and we got 20 people. Maybe not even that. Maybe 15. And when you do that, and when you get a 27% turnout, you get what you get. You get the government you deserve. So anyway, that's it. We're going to be watching for this. And while I'm on that topic, because I did mention Councillor Mona Patel, I call her Councillor NP, N as an N, as N as a nincompoop. She's holding a 2-hour meet and greet at the McBain Center to hear from residents on what actually matters to them. Mamma mia. Mamma mia. If she doesn't know that from being on council for 2 years, well, need I say more? She wants to know what matters to people? This is a joke, right? Councillor Patel is holding this tete-a-tete at the McBain Center in the Coronation Room, and there'll be refreshments. I don't know, maybe a little bit of water. Now, if you've ever seen her at a city council meeting, she's pretty well oblivious to the obvious. So this may help her out. It might be good for her to have one of these meetings. At every meeting, she knows what the people want, but never votes that way. She knows the people didn't want a 7.9% increase when she got elected, and she voted for it anyway. She knows they didn't want a 4%. She voted for it anyway. I mean, so your concerns at this meet and greet or whatever she's calling it may fall on deaf ears. She's stood up so many times advocating for the people, but then sat down and voted against the people. Very strange indeed. And half the time, she really don't know what's going on. I don't think she goes through the agenda very carefully, if at all. The meeting is going to be held August 14th, 6 p.m., Coronation Room, McBain Center. She's doing this because they're going to start working on the budget, and that if spending cuts are necessary, they want to make sure they're cutting in the right places. Okay. Like, what are the right areas? Please explain that to me. I could tell you what the right areas are, but we'll see what she has to say before I have to say when she gets to August 14th. I'll be commenting on that right after. Believe me. And she has all these motions, right? She also wants to hear about all the motions she brought forward. Now, this was the most ridiculous thing ever. She had a motion for one thing. Well, first of all, let's just go back in the time machine. She first said this is a clean city. Her neighborhood's clean. There's no litter. Everything's great in Niagara Falls. And if you say it isn't, then you are downgrading this city. Oh, sure. Sure, there might be a Tim Hortons cup here and there, but nothing great. Obviously, she never went by the arena. Obviously, she never drove down Queen Street. Obviously, she never went around the city, other than two places where there's photo ops, where she takes her picture in a brand new store, cuts the ribbon, and then gets the hell out of there. Other than that, obviously, she didn't go around the city, because I have not heard one person say that this city is better off now than 2 years ago. As a matter of fact, it's worse. There's more homeless. The yards in that are terrible. And when she brought this up, Councillor Baldinelli, who I called no dose, but I'm really liking what Councillor Baldinelli's doing lately in council. He seems to be getting it, and he may just be a great councillor. We're gonna do the ratings in November on the 2 years. We'll see what everybody has to vote and what they say. Triple F, that's what she got last time. Let's see what she gets this time. Like Baldinelli said, before the city starts strong-arming people about cutting their weeds, they should really cut their own, take care of their own backyard first, and set a good example for everybody else. Bravo, Councillor Baldinelli, you got it. Because I'm looking at the meteorite crater over here, and it's a big mess. Weeds growing all over the place. And I see this up and down Bridge Street. There's no bylaw guys making people cut their lawns. There's weeds all over the place. I mean, garbage all over. I saw a guy yesterday from the city cleaning up some homeless guy dumped all this crap in the parking lot right behind the building here. And the city guy was there cleaning it up. And the guy came and said, "Hey, that's my stuff." And he goes, "Well, it's going in the junk." So the guy grabbed a couple bags and well, he could. And that was that. And it's all cleaned up now. There's a whole bunch by the fence there. That's all cleaned up now. And that's the way it should happen. Well, there's junk. But over in the meteor crater, there's old buckets sitting there and junk in the middle of it and garbage in here down Queen Street. I mean, it's just, but it's clean, according to Mona Patel. So all those waste of time motions she brought forward, and it was really funny because she had one motion in writing, and then what you're supposed to do is put her motion in writing. It goes on the agenda, then you vote on it, type of thing, and it's passed. She was just coming up off the top of her head. Well, let's do this. Well, let's do that. About a half an hour, and nobody stopped her. Somebody should have stopped her and said, "Hey, that's not the way you put a motion on the floor." But no, she just kept going. So she said she tried door knockings in her neighborhood. The ones that she says is clean like the rest of the city, that neighborhood. But she catches people off guard. So maybe this meet and greet will be a better way to do door knocking. I guess that's what she's hoping. There's a nice little dog. Yeah, I guess door knocking is going to be better. I guess that's what she's figuring out. But she did speak some truth here, though. She said that she will not have all the answers and solutions to every problem. And that's the absolute truth. She won't have any. But that people can come out and talk about it, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. And sometimes people have better ideas than she does, and that's like 100% of the time, by the way. So I advise everybody to attend, and you'll get a better feeling why she is our triple F rated counselor. 6 p.m. August 14th, That's a Wednesday at the Coronation Room at the McBain Center. I guarantee I won't be there. I'll guarantee that. I'm not going to waste 2 hours of my time. I only have so much time left on this earth, and that is going to be how I use 2 hours of it. Thanks to Ray Spiteri, review writer, for this report, and everybody go to the meet and greet. See what's going on. That's all I can tell you. Go see. Go see. I guess now it's time for my second sponsor, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. And this lighting is just spectacular. If you ever seen a house lit up by Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, you are going to have your mind blown. These are all track lighting, permanent outdoor track lighting. You don't see it in the daytime. It's virtually invisible. Matches all the colors of your house and everything. And at night is when it shines, no pun intended. You switch these things on by your phone. They're built-in zones, so you can change the color of zones. You want red and white, you just change the zone right on your phone. You pick the color you want. There's a million colors. Canada Day, Christmas, red and green. St. Patrick's Day, all green. Prince's birthday, all purple. Whatever you like. Halloween orange. You got it. And it's amazing, this lighting. It adds value to your house. It's got a lifetime warranty on it. Yeah, lifetime warranty. That's how confident they are of their product. Now, I don't think you can beat that. And also, it's very quick to install, easy to install. All the joints are soldered. They're impervious to dust and moisture, so you don't have to worry about that. Just a great, great product. Makes your house look great. Adds value to your house. Lights up those walkways and pathways around your house that get dark at night. Just a fantastic product. How do you get it? That's what everybody says. Well, how do I get this? Easy. You pick up the phone and you call Colin Buckborough. He's the owner of Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. You call Colin and you say, Colin, Paul from Your City, Your Voice told me to call you and ask you to come and give me a free estimate. And Colin will come up there. He'll give you a free estimate, and then you can get him to put them up. You're going to be happy, believe me. How do you get a hold of Colin? 289-969-1797. That's 289-969-1797. Colin Buckborough, he's the proprietor, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. And if you'd like to see some of their work, you can go to their Facebook page, of course, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting or Glowstone Lighting. But you can also go to their website. It is glowstonelighting.com. Just like it sounds. glowstonelighting.com. And you'll see a gallery of their work. And I'll give you that number again because sometimes I talk fast. Salute, which I wish I didn't sometimes. That is 289-969-1797. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. He's going to be happy. I'm going to be happy. You're going to be happy. And we like supporting our sponsors because they pay for the show. So you don't have to. How about that? Pretty good, right? Okay, so we kind of jumped ahead here with the Mona Patel story. And because it just kind of fit in. But there's something cool that is going to happen here in Niagara Falls. And it's not a tornado or an eclipse. But it's a giant size peace symbol, but not the peace symbol like with the dove in that, the V, the V, you put your fingers up in V, peace, brother. That kind of symbol is going to be installed at the Botanical Garden in the parks. Why? Who knows? But the peace symbol was apparently cast off Ringo Starr, the Wonder Kid drummer of the Beatles and now leader of Ringo's All-Star Band, off his right hand. So they did a cast of it, and they made a giant-size version of it in chrome. It's called the Peace and Love symbol, the giant chrome peace symbol, 2 fingers in a V. And if that the index finger breaks off, well, that's not going to be really good. They better keep it together. They got 2 of them already located in Beverly Hills and Amherst, New York. The monument is a part of a global project involving the Ringo Starr Foundation, the 84-year-old musicians' Peace and Love Initiative, and International Peace Garden Foundation. So for those counting the beans, it's not going to cost us anything. Sponsorships are received for the sculpture to build, and they're donated to the different places and organizations. And, it promotes world peace, global friendship, green initiatives, and cultural exchange. Gee, maybe they should put one on the border of Ukraine and Russia, or maybe a Gaza and Israel, Lebanon and Iran, and Yemen. All those should have one of these, maybe, right? Get some peace in this world. Interestingly, interestingly enough, it just so happens that Ringo is bringing his all-star band to the OLG stage in September. So if it's up, he'll get to see his peace symbol if he has a chance, which would be pretty cool. According to the foundation website, Starr has a list of cities he would like to see have this sculpture, and Niagara Falls was one of them on that list. And Ringo Starr has always talked highly of Niagara Falls. He's been here many times for various musical events, and he likes Niagara Falls, so he chose us. And there you go. We're gonna get one of these giant peace symbols. And there wasn't a date listed for when they're going to install this thing and that, but everybody's welcome to attend when it's announced. So, yeah, go check it out. Thanks to Allison Langley of the review for this tremendous report. Another great writer for the review. Hearst, Ray Spiteri, and John Law, they do a bang-up job on reporting. Oh, Ray Spiteri gave us the Triple F story there about the meet and greet at the McBain Center. I have a great whatever happened to today. I always get into this whatever happened to. I sit here and wonder whatever happened to. Because, there's all these big stories going along about things happening, and we never hear the end of the story. It's just all of a sudden dropped out of the news. Nobody hears anything more about it. It basically dropped faster than Joe Biden. It's just not there anymore. Nobody knows what happened to it. So this one has to do with the hovercraft that was supposed to speed people across Lake Ontario in 30 minutes to Toronto. Whatever happened to that? They're supposed to be operating in the summer of 2023, and then it was delayed, and we haven't seen it or heard of it since. Well, Hoverlink Ontario Incorporated was supposed to travel between Port Weller and Ontario Place. Pinball Clemens, the Toronto Argonauts, was he a running back, I think, with the big teeth? The chief government relations officer said, he's the chief government relations officer, and he said it was a game changer when it came out. It's a game changer. And the CEO, Chris Morgan, touted it as a rapid transit solution for the Golden Horseshoe. That's right. We're going to take people across Toronto from Port Weller, and I guess the Golden Horseshoe never worked out or whatever. Now, this was nothing new. Many times this kind of business has been tried. Remember, they had hovercrafts, they had this, they had the ones on the big jet boats on the big skis going across. You name the scheme, they've had it. And they all failed. I mean, you go down there and see anything running across the lake? No, because they all failed. And Pinball Clemens insisted it was the type of craft that makes the difference, right? This is what the problem was with the other ones. They were just boats or boats on skis or whatever. This was a hovercraft, and that's the difference. And of course, the Big Show stepped in and offered his 2 cents, calling it new technology in a new time, and it's much busier than it's ever been on the highways. The idea of connecting Niagara to Toronto is obvious. Yeah, well, that's so was a million people for the eclipse. That was obvious too, but sometimes it doesn't work out. Now, I remember their business model was to carry not only people but cargo, and that's what was going to be the difference maker. That was the game changer. Yeah, I guess it wasn't much of a game changer because it never got going. The latest press release was March of 2023 when they said they were delaying the launch, but they do want to move forward with it to serve the population with their service. They ask for patience. It'll happen. That's it. That's all. No other news posted on the website about progress. And I know, I know everybody says I'm negative and blah blah blah. They give me that negative stuff, right? But the bottom line is, let's face it. I said this. It's not going to go. And the reality is, these schemes, they just don't work. They just don't work. Remember the airline that was set to fly people from Toronto and back? What happened to that? Don't hear anything more about that. It was the next big thing. They had a little jet that's their plane that's going to run into Toronto and deliver people to Toronto and bring them back and that. And it's going to save all kinds of time for people, business people. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that neither. I mean, seriously, until you can find a way to beat the train running up and down the tracks to Niagara Falls, and even that's a tough one because they're not convenient. They have to run at convenient times for people who do a commute, and people want to get there. So you've got to be able to beat driving, which gives you all the freedom you want. You can go anywhere you want in Ontario. You can come home when you want. You don't have to be sitting around wasting time. You can come home. You can come and go as you please. You know, yeah, until you can beat that, and it's not that far. Like it's an hour and a half away. Sometimes a little bit longer if there's accidents or a lot of traffic, which there usually is. But still, the flexibility of having a car in Toronto is even better, and it's not cheaper to have a car in Toronto. By the time you drive there, and the price of gas, pay for gas, and then you got to pay for parking in Toronto. But that's worth a couple extra bucks for the flexibility, right? I mean, you take the hovercraft over there. Does it come home when you get off work? What if you're working 9 till 3:30, 8 till 4:30? I don't know. Whatever your hours are, you're going to sit around and wait till the next hovercraft comes. They'd have to run like every half hour there, pick up half hour back, pick up half hour back, and that's 45 minutes by the time you load them up, get them going, get them out of the harbor at slow speeds until they can get up to full blast across the lake. I mean, it's probably 45 minutes to an hour. So, like they almost got to have four of them running or something if they're going to be able to give real good service. And these things are expensive and they're not cheap to run. They're very, very expensive to run, liability and insurance and everything else. So, even if they charge 25 or 30 bucks each way, it's still got to be convenient, more convenient than jumping in your car and taking your car. It's just a tough go. It's just a tough go. And even when you land at the different ports, whether Port Weller or Ontario Place, where they're going to run it over in Toronto, you still have to catch transportation to and from where you land. So you're going to have to get an Uber or you're going to have to get on the subway or whatever it is in downtown Toronto. And then Port Weller, I mean, gee, there's nothing there. What transit line runs to Port Weller? So you're going to have to find an Uber or a taxi or I don't know, have a friend pick you up, I guess, your wife pick you up after you get off work if you use that. But, just the convenience factor sometimes just don't make it work out. I would say that the idea has been scrapped. We haven't heard anything. Nothing's going on with it. It's probably been scrapped. I'm not sure. There's no news on their website. If anybody knows anything different, let me know. I'd love to hear what happened to it. I looked into it the best I could, and I didn't see anything more. Haven't heard of anything since over a year and a half ago now, and there's just nothing going on. So I guess Hoovercrafting International Incorporated with Pinball Clemens is done, and Pinball Clemens has moved on to the other good work that he does for charities and everything else. Nice try. Maybe it's still going to happen. I don't know. This doesn't seem to make sense now, and it didn't seem to make sense then. Oh, so what are we going to do? Let's go over to the Middle East for a minute. I mean, all weekend and everything, it's been going crazy over there. The Israelis knocked out one leader in Lebanon and Beirut, killed him. What was his name? Suker. The other guy, Haniyeh in Tehran, they don't claim to take him out, but he was bombed out and killed. Leader of Hamas, leader of the Hezbollah. And Iran said they're going to retaliate. The religious leader said he's going to retaliate. Everybody's going to retaliate for what happened there, right? But since they took these guys out, it's been really, really quiet. I mean, yeah, Hezbollah's been launching rockets. Some of these proxies have been launching rockets. But at the end of the day, Iran said they were going to directly attack Israel. And it hasn't happened yet. I mean, it could happen right now. It could be happening right now. I don't know. I just watched the news and I haven't heard about it happening yet. It could have happened between 11:30 and quarter to 1, which it is now. So who knows, right? But it hasn't happened so far. So they're just waiting, and there's all kinds of alarms and going off in Israel all the time, and they're telling everybody to hunker down and get ready for an attack and everything else. But most people are telling it. Even Putin is telling the Iranians to relax, don't do anything crazy. And you got to wonder why he's doing that. He's weighed in and he's asked the Iranians to use restraint. Why would he be asking an ally not to bomb his enemy, the United States? I mean, come on, really. If they bomb Israel, they bomb the United States. They're one and the same when it's all said and done. And the Iranians are known for yelling death to America, burning their flags, and everything else that goes along with it. So, yeah. But I got to think about this. Why would he not want them to use restraint and not retaliate? Well, the only reason I can think of is because he's sucking up all their drones and their missiles and everything they can build for his war against the Ukraine. And the minute they get into it and the United States steps in with Israel, they're going to need all the weapons they can get, so Russia's cut off. I guess it would alter the war on the Russian front. But on the other side of that coin, forcing the U.S. to spend all this money in Israel means less money for Ukraine, and Ukraine may just fall real quick. And I mean, Ukraine's beat. Let's face it; they've been beat for a year and a half. The only reason they're even still in existence, basically, is because NATO keeps pushing money and everything else to them. With the United States and other countries like Canada, we keep wasting money, giving it to Zelensky, who is a billionaire, by the way, by now. But without NATO and the U.S. giving them millions to operate, the UK would have fallen a long time ago. That's the only thing that's there, and it's going to be over if Trump gets elected. I'm telling you right now, Trump is going to say, Zelensky, no more money. You're on your own. And then NATO's got to make a decision to put boots on the ground, because that's the only way they're going to win this. With boots on the ground, which more than likely going to happen is that little strip of land that Russia wants, which is mostly Russians anyway, and they want to be part of Russia, is going to go back to Russia. They're going to give that up in the negotiation. Zelensky is going to keep Ukraine. It's going to go to Russia, that little strip of land, and that'll be the end of it. That war will be over. Trump is not kidding when he says he's going to end it fast, because that's the way it's going to end. It's very simple. You cut off the money, they're done. And that's what's going to happen. So Zelensky will take the better part of it, give up that, and be president of the Ukraine and alive, and end the war and be a hero to his people. The end of the war, no more mass killings, no more killings, and that'll be the way it ends. So, I mean, the only other option, like I said, is for NATO to put boots on the ground, to march in there, and they're going to fight a ground war. And because this isn't going to be won by drones and fighter jets. No, not against Russia. And that means the United States would have to enact conscription. That's right. The draft comes back. So who are they going to draft? I mean, the United States Army is lacking. They were $15,000 short, 15,000 people short on their recruitment efforts last year. There's just nobody. These guys, these kids that they conscripted to go, drafted to go to Vietnam, and that at 18 years old, these 18-year-olds won't go. They will not go. I guarantee they don't even know what bathroom to use. How are they going to go fight against the Iranians? They can't do it. They're not tough. They're not tough enough to fight in a war. And yeah, you can tell me I'm full of it. And go ahead, tell me I'm full of it. But we know the truth. I mean, deep down, these kids they can't even get a job. How are you going to go and fight for their country? They don't even care about their country. They're protesting with the Palestinian terrorists. They're going to go over there and fight for America. They're burning flags. They're not going to go. They're not tough enough to go. So forget about it. They don't even know which bathroom to use. How are they going to go over there? So I don't even know how they're going to run a a conscription, how they're going to run a draft, and how they're going to get people. I mean, you put these guns in their hands. What happens is nobody wants to go, and then you start taking anybody, and that's never works out good. There's no desire to fight if you got the worst of the worst troops. They're just going to get knocked off real quick. I mean, there is something to be said for smarts when you go over there and start fighting wars. So anyway, I don't know what's going to happen there, but Ukraine's. I think they're just going to concede the land. Once Trump wins, they'll concede the land, and Zelensky, if he's not gone, he might be hung for his criminal activity, and that'll be that. The guy's an actor. That's all he is. He's not a leader or a president. He's a dictator, if anything, he may be swinging. He may be swinging once this gets stopped, it gets settled, but. Are Harris and Walz going to do it? Are you kidding me? These two clowns? Did you see him in that announcement there? That rally they had for when he got on there. This was like the Beavis and Butthead show. This was the most ridiculous thing, making odd gestures, cackling, laughing, like a road show, a vaudeville road show. I mean, there's two wars going on. Serious crap. People are talking World War III. You got China going to invade Taiwan and the Philippines. You got North Korea going to blow everything up. And these guys are up there laughing and joking? What the heck kind of show was that? And this Walz guy, he's the guy who put tampons in boys' bathrooms in schools. I mean, seriously, folks, this is a joke. I mean, right now they're on a little honeymoon. They're getting a little bump because everybody's, they're exciting and blah. They're clowns and they're going to be exposed. Just hold on. Everybody says, well, Trump isn't in the news anymore. It's all about Kamala. Of course it is. Trump is just sitting back, doing his thing. He's too smart for this. He sits back and he just let these guys run their mouth, act like idiots, and they will expose themselves. The more they talk, the worse they look. And they're a bunch of clowns, and it'll come down to debates and stuff. And when it's all said and done, Walz won't make a difference, even though his record is terrible. He let Minneapolis burn. He didn't call in the National Guard when Trump asked him if he wanted him to send him. No, and it burned. And Kamala gave a bunch of money, raised money for the Minnesota Defense Fund, which actually bailed out the rioters and looters and murderers and criminals, bailed them out of jail. That's how they got out of jail, Kamala. This is all going to be exposed. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about this. It's all going to be exposed. It is right now. And let them talk and let them talk and let them yap and blah, 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 and act like Beavis and Butthead, Ren and Stimpy. Yeah, let them do it. They'll talk themselves right out of a job. That's what they're going to do, these two clowns. But this kind of got me, though. Premier Doug Ford is ecstatic that Tim Walz was chosen. So now we're going to see the Kamala Waltz. That's what I'm calling it. These two dancing around the stage like idiots. The Kamala Waltz. That's what I'm calling it. And not like the Danube Waltz or anything, the Kamala Waltz. And they're going to be dancing around. And Doug Ford loves it. He met up with this guy a couple months ago in Toronto, I guess. And he says they have a lot in common. Now, I don't know about you. I don't see Doug Ford putting tampons in boys' bathrooms. Nah, just doesn't seem like he would do that. But apparently they have a lot in common. They like each other. Apparently this creep visited Ford a few months ago, and they got along great, Ford said. He said that the Harris Walz ticket gets elected, they will work well together. Yeah, they're going to work well together. Now I have to really examine my vote for the PC candidates when it comes to MPP time. Ford has entered the bizarro world for me. So I don't know. I don't know what all this means, but I'll tell you one thing right now. He gets along great with this guy. He's a little bit warped. Bizarro world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. This is truly bizarro world. I wonder if that's going to come back to haunt him when anybody says anything. But I think the liberals would find more in common with this clown than Ford. But why he said that, I don't know. Bizarre, bizarre. I'm gonna have to ask somebody what that was all about because maybe he's just playing both sides. I mean, if Trump wins, okay. If this guy wins, okay. You don't want to alienate either one of them in case either of them win. He wants to get along with them as Ontario because we do a lot of business with the United States. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Seems weird. Now, in another strange scene I saw, and I don't know if anybody caught this, JD Vance was in Pennsylvania. He was on the tarmac, and Kamala Harris has refused to do any interviews or anything to do with the press since 17 days ago when she got anointed the leader. She hasn't done one conference or anything. So her plane was sitting on the tarmac in Pennsylvania, and Vance was there as well. So he went over to the reporters and said, I know Kamala's not going to come out and talk to you, so I thought I'd come over and talk to you and see what's up, right? And and when he walked up, he has Secret Service guarding him, right? They all do. Once he's nominated vice president, he has Secret Service detail that goes with him, of course. And who was on that Secret Service deal? That same woman who ducked when they started firing when she was with Trump on Trump. And she couldn't get her gun in her holster. She looked a little bit overweight to be a Secret Service agent. She was 5 feet tall. I mean, she was trying to cover Trump, and she couldn't even cover him. I mean, the guy's 6'3". Now, I don't know. When you're on that detail that let a presidential candidate, an ex-president, get shot, don't you think that maybe they would put her at a desk job for a little while? But no, 3 weeks later, there she is. When did he get shot? July 13th, he got shot. Not even a month later, here she is on the detail for JD Vance. Don't mind me, my chair's getting away from me here. Funny thing, this floor. Funny thing. But there she is on the detail with JD Vance, walking beside him, and he's 6 feet at least. I don't get it. I found that to be totally bizarre that they would have her on duty guarding JD Vance after the screw up in Butler, Pennsylvania. That is just, I mean, she's inept. She's in way over her head. She couldn't even holster her gun. I mean, come on, what's going on here? I mean, this is truly bizarre. And if people don't think this is some kind of a rigged outfit or something like that, I'd say it's crazy. I'd say it's nuts, but hey, I saw it. I couldn't figure it out. Maybe somebody else can, but I can't. She should be suspended for at least a little while until investigations and hearings go on and get a desk job. I mean, she's not fit to and none of them, not just her, none of them should be on the job. They let this happen. They all should be either fired or they should be on a job that doesn't involve protecting someone important. So yeah, it's really really crazy. It's really crazy. I don't get it, but that's the weird thing that I saw, and that's it. That's it. I mean, the weirdest thing, and that's it for. Oh man, an hour went by already. I could probably do another hour here. I've got lots of stuff, but and I'm going to be back tomorrow on Friday. Finally, Friday. Nobody's coming in the studio. We'll continue with this. We'll continue with what's going on around here. We'll continue with the election. Any new news I find about the budget or I hear from anybody, I'll relay to you and and get it to you because that's what the show is all about. Like I say, there's great journalists out there that write great stories. I use them and I give you my opinion on them, and that's that. Like it or not. That's it. If you disagree with me, listen, message me. Tell me what you think, and I'll get it on the air here. I'll bring it to the air. Unfortunately, I can't do the phone and everything. It's just a weird quirk. I'm using my phone for a camera here, but I'm gonna get another phone, or I gotta do something, get a camera maybe. I gotta do something and see if we can free up the phone for calls and free up this other phone for calls. Find a way to tap into the microphone, but I am gonna try putting one of my little microphones that I have. This thing right here. See it? This little microphone here. Yeah, I'm going to try putting that in a set of headsets and it'll pick up people talking, and I'll be able to use the phone. I'm going to give it a try. Maybe we'll give it a try tomorrow. I'll get somebody to call in and see how it works out. Just do a little test run with it. But anyway, I'm out of here for today. My name is Paul Kalamir. This is Your City, Your Voice. Thank you for listening in. I really appreciate it. This video will be on YouTube in a few hours. Comment on it, like it, subscribe, get a notification when I post another video. And of course, if you disagree with me on anything, hey, let me know. Let me know. I love the comments. I love to hear people involved. That's what this show is all about. It's not just about my opinion. I have my opinion on everything, believe me. But it's also about your opinion, your city, your voice, your opinion. And if I can get any of you involved in this budget process and looking at city council, trying to find out where your money's going, getting an interest, getting out and voting, going to Mona Patel's meet and greet with some great questions for her that maybe you got from me, maybe you got from the review, maybe you have sitting in your own portfolio. If you can do that and we can get people interested, we can get the government we deserve that care about the people. That's what we're looking for. That's what this show's all about. That's why I come here every day. It isn't for the money, believe me. It's because I want people to wake up and get out there. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. I will talk to you tomorrow. My name is Paul Kalamir. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from the studios of 4680Q Radio in downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. And don't forget to support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, which I have one of his shirts on here, beautiful shirt, and Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Ciao, ciao. Talk to you tomorrow. As bizarre as this seems, my remote doesn't seem to want to work. I don't know. Let's see. I'm getting to the. We'll turn it off.